Hello, astronomy class. So this video is showing you how to use a virtual planetarium called Stellarium Online or Stellarium Web Online, whatever the official name is. So Stellarium is actually a program you can download to your computer for a price, and it's an app you can use also for a price. But they have a free version in your web browser. I'm going to post a link to that. And when it comes to virtual planetariums, I'm going to give you guys the choice of what you want to use. Some of them work faster than others, and some of them are easier to use than others. So I'm going to show you one that I think is pretty cool to use. I'm going to post a tutorial for one that worked for Android pretty well. That works pretty well in the Android. Excuse me. Um, so let me show you Stellarium. Again, this is really for the computer. You can download this to your phone for about $3. Um, So when you open this stellariumweb.org, this is what comes up. It kind of shows you the night sky. This is going to ask for your location. I think so. I think this is around my current location. Um, so the reason we're going to use virtual planetariums in class is because I'm going to ask you guys to make a number of observations of the night sky, and it might be and these virtual planetariums will show you where to find the object and what time of night to find your object. For example, the moon or maybe a planet. And a lot of the stuff I'm going to assign to you guys will be invisible to the naked eye, so you don't have to worry about buying a telescope or binoculars or anything like that. Although sometimes your library will let you check those out for free, so if you go to your local library, you can check that out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go full screen. If I click on view settings, is it there? Oh, no, here it is, right here. I'm going to go full screen, this little button right here, full screen. I'm also going to collapse this menu by clicking this little triple bar hamburger button. So there we go. Now we got a nice, pretty picture of the night sky. So let me show you a few cool things you can do. So first of all, if I want to move my view around, I can just click and drag. And I can drag left and right. I can go up and look way up at the sky. I can also look down. The cool thing about looking down is that it'll actually show me the stars and planets on the other side of the world. And so if I keep going around, I should be able to find the sun. There we go. So there's the sun. Now, and there's also other cool things like I can turn on constellations, so I can see the constellations in their name. I can turn on constellations art. By the way, I'm using all these buttons on the bottom. If you can't tell on your video, there's buttons on the bottom that I'm using to do this. Okay, I'm gonna turn those off for now. I can turn the atmosphere on and off. So one thing we're going to learn about stargazing is that something called light pollution blocks out a lot of the stars in the night sky. So if you turn off the atmosphere, all that blue haze kind of goes away, and now I can see the stars a lot more clearly. I can turn off the landscape completely. So if you weren't standing on Earth at all, if you were just standing in the middle of space and you happen to be where the Earth was supposed to be, this is what you would see. You wouldn't see a blue sky because the blue sky, sky is blue in part because of the atmosphere around us. So if there's no atmosphere, you just see this big black space, big ball, big yellow ball, the sun kind of glaring at you. But you wouldn't see blue. You just kind of see a big sphere of stars. I'm turning that back on for a second because I want to show you something later. You can also turn on these grids. Those grids might kind of help you keep track of where the stars are moving. Deep sky objects, night mode. If you actually want to take your computer outside with you and use this to help you look for objects, night mode is useful because it turns everything red. So it might help you kind of, because when you're outside and there's lots of light pollution already, your eyes need to adjust to the night sky. So turning your screen red will help your eyes not get polluted by all that extra light your computer gives you. So that night mode might come in handy if you take your computer outside with you. One thing I want to show you is a time feature. So I already told you about a location. Let me go and, well, actually, let me back up and show you a location. For example, right here on the bottom left, it says near null. That word null is there because it doesn't know what to call my city. It just knows that I'm somewhere around here. So let's say I wanted to search for St. Let's say I live in St. Louis. Okay, so this little search bar annoys the heck out of me. St. Louis, hit enter. I think I have to use my keyboard. There we go. Use this location. So this night sky's not going to change that much. However, if I want, right now I'm seeing the northern hemisphere. If I want to see someone in the southern hemisphere, I could change my location. Whoops. I could change my location to say Sydney, Australia, which is in the southern hemisphere. And I would see a different set of stars. And that I might make that one of your assignments is to select one of these cities to see how your sky changes. You can use auto location to see the current location. It'll track the location of your internet provider or the computer itself using something, IP address, I'm sure. Anyway, so you can change your location. One other thing you can do is you can change the time of day. Before I show you time of day, let me show you how to zoom in and out. So there's a couple ways to zoom in and out. You can use the scroll button. If you have a mouse with a scroll key, you can scroll in and out to zoom in. If you just have a touchpad, a lot of touchpads will scroll with your fingers, so you can make a peace sign. This isn't a peace sign. This is a peace sign. Make a peace sign with your fingers and then scroll down, up or down to zoom in and out. That's one way to zoom in and out. But one thing we're going to talk about in class is that the sky is moving. So let me find a planet here. If I were going to find a planet, maybe I could use a star. Let me use a star Antares right here. If I zoom in to this star, and I keep on zooming in, I'll notice that the star is moving. And I want to zoom in. I want to get a good view of it, but I can't because that star keeps moving. That's kind of weird. Well, that's because the night sky is moving. That's one thing we're going to talk about is that the night sky is moving. Just like the sun rises and sets, every star in our sky also has this time where it rises and sets. So if I go down to this clock on the very bottom right and click on it, I can click on this pause button and the sky pauses. So this is really good if I want to just zoom in and just look at things without things having to move around. Now let me zoom back out. In addition to just pausing the sky, this time feature really comes in handy because I can rewind back to daytime. Oh, hang on. Turn atmosphere. Okay, I have to turn atmosphere back on for a second so you guys can see the blue sky. So now the sun's up. Where's the sun? Let's go back to, ooh, I'm lost, guys. There we go. Okay, trying to find the horizon. Okay, I lost myself there. So let's go back to the east here. Let's go back to where the sun's actually going to rise. Okay, so yeah, by the way, these letters on the horizon show the cardinal directions, northeast, west, north, south, east, west. So I'm going to go back to, here we go, here's sunrise. So I can actually change my clock here. There's 5:30, 5:43 a.m. Here's 6 a.m. So we see 6:43, the sun's already risen. So I can scroll through and see how the sun moves to the sky and how it sets and how that affects the sky. And one thing I can also check is if I change the date let's kind of go back a little bit. Let's go to like maybe 6 o'clock on the dot. Is it gonna let me type it in? Okay, it's not gonna let me type it in. 6 o'clock on the dot. So the sun is just on the horizon. Now, if I change the date to, let's say, April, now the sun's below the horizon. That's weird. Same time, but now the sun's below the horizon. So one thing you'll see in the video coming up soon, or maybe you already watched it, is that the sun's path changes depending on the time of year. So the sun is kind of going, and also depends on how your daylight savings clocks are set, to be honest. So now we're in September at 6 o'clock and the sun hasn't even risen yet. So I'm going to ask you guys to use this date feature to change the time of day and also the date to see how the date and time affects the sunrises and sunsets. Let me turn the atmosphere off 1 second. So I'll show you one way of zooming in just by using that scroll feature. A really easy way of zooming in is by finding an object. For example, let me see. So there's a search bar up here. I'm going to search for a planet. I'm going to search for Saturn because everybody loves Saturn. So Saturn's below the horizon. I'm going to turn landscape off so we get an uninterrupted view. So once I search for Saturn, I clicked on Saturn. Now it has this plus and minus button, and I can just zoom in directly on Saturn. So this is really cool because I can zoom in just like I had a really good telescope, and I can actually get a really good view of Saturn. Sometimes I can zoom in really far. Now it's kind of, doesn't really make sense to zoom in farther than that. But so you can zoom in on planets and see what each planet would look like and kind of get an idea of how far away some planets are. Now I've zoomed in a little bit too far out. Also find the moon. So I'm asking you guys to find the moon on a few occasions. Let's see if I can find it by myself. I probably can't. Moon, moon, moon. Okay, I'm not gonna waste you guys' time. Moon. So here's our moon. Okay, so here's the moon. You can't see it. No wonder I couldn't find it. It's so dark right now. Let's pick a different month or different day in the month. Let's go. So the moon has phases. So that's one thing we'll talk about in class. And I'm asking you guys to observe some of those phases. So I can zoom in and I can look at the moon. And I can tell what phase it's in. So this is important because I want you guys to be able to recognize phases. I want you guys to be able to tell me where in the sun is. Now I'm back out here and turn landscape back on. And you guys will notice that this is under the horizon. Whoa. So right now I am under the horizon. So if I want to actually go out for an observation, I want to head like, well, let's say, let's go back to the current day. So it's today. So today, the date I'm recording this is April 18th. So let's say it's April 18th. And the current time, this is military time, so this is actually going to be, oh guys, it's getting late. It's 10:30 at night here. So that would be 20:30. Oof, I can't put it in. I'm very surprised it didn't let me type it in. I think there's a few apps that don't let me type it in. Oh, I'm sorry, no, 22. There, that makes more sense. So now I'm basically looking at the sky as it should be when I walk outside. So if I wanted to go outside right now and I wanted to know exactly where to look to find the moon, I could use this. And let me just zoom out as far as I can. Okay, so I can look at the whole night sky. Well, I don't see the moon. Okay. Oh, here we go. The moon's under the horizon. No wonder. So I need to okay, well, what time can I go outside to see the moon? Do I have to wait till 11 o'clock? Nope. Midnight? Nope. 1 o'clock? Sorry, 1:30? Nope. 2:30? Come on. Oof. I think my computer's running a little bit slow today. 2:30? Nope. 3:30? Nope. 4:30? Okay, now I can just barely see the northern horizon. I might need to wait till 5:30 because there's trees around my house. I might need to wait till 5:30 until I can go out and look at the moon. So if I have an observation due tomorrow, and I get up at 5:30 to look at the moon, that might not be possible. So one of the options is, instead of going out and doing an actual observation, you can just take a screenshot of your observation. And actually, if you guys can't actually make it out for physical observation, you can just take a screenshot of your screen. I'm going to do tutorials later on how to actually take a screenshot of your computer. It varies depending on what kind of computer you have. But if you can't take a picture of your night sky, find the moon or find the planet, just take a screenshot of a vertical planetarium. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how to use these vertical planetariums. And I'm going to be on Zoom. I'm going to be on Google Meetings, and we can walk through this together again. Actually, all about virtual planetariums against the Stellarium web. I'll be posting this link on Google Classroom. Hope you guys enjoy this. Have fun with this, guys. Really, just kind of look at the stars and planets that are out there. These programs are a lot of fun to use. If you have any problems with them, please let me know. And you guys have a great night.